Ever pick your feet in Poughkeepsie? That's a question that'll be asked and never answered on this episode of Film Seizure. Hello, I'm Chuck Moore. With me, as always, are Popeye Jeff Doyle. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going? Good.
Yeah, and then we have Jason. I can't remember the other guy's name.
Russo.
Jason Russo Oliver.
I was hoping that was going to be Frog 1.
Frog 1. Yeah, you're the froggy one.
That's me. I'm Frog 1.
You're Frog 1, not Frog 2.
Yeah. Oh, I'm after you guys. No, Cloudy
and
Russo.
will kind of answer the question of ever pick your feet in Poughkeepsie.
Are you picking your feet in Poughkeepsie?
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we will.
Kind
We'll answer it. This month, as mentioned last week, we're doing some remembrance, some honoring of two giants that passed in the last few months. Gene Hackman. Have we announced the second one?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Yeah. So we're starting this month with Gene Hackman's award-winning, which actually surprised me. I did not know he won Best Actor for this, The French Connection. It also won William Friedkin Best Director, right?
Yep.
And Best Movie.
Yep.
Yes, Best Picture. Yeah,
That's a hell of a showing.
Best Movie as well. It's
one of those sweepers.
almost a sweep. It didn't win Best Cinematography.
No, it didn't win Best Actress or Best Supporting Actor. There is no actress in this movie, but
It also won Best Editing, which yeah. Yeah.
I will talk a little bit about that Best Picture one, because this is the third 1971 movie that we've seen this Best Picture nominee from this year. Because we did A Clockwork Orange and The Last Picture Show. And I will say that I had some stuff kind of itching in the back of my head about that, but we'll get to that later. We're gonna do the teasing thing that we've become so good at.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that later. But this is I look at this as the culmination of, another Gene Hackman movie of what Bonnie and Clyde started, which was the turn towards the adult violent movie being praised and not just tossed aside. And this is one, because the movies that won Best Picture, except for Midnight Cowboy, which was X-rated, the only X-rated movie to win Best Picture, they were almost rejections of this kind of newer form of really actual adult entertainment. You're not taking the kids to see this. You're going out to see this as an adult. This is for the brain to puzzle over.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of like those Italian Polizia Tecce, I'm terrible at saying that, movies that come after this, right? In Italy in the 70s that are dirty and grimy. And I'd never seen this movie. I was kind of surprised by that I'd never seen it. Like, I thought I had, and then I watched it. I'm like, nope, haven't seen it. And it reminded me a lot of obviously it's a higher class, higher, production with some amazing stuff in it, which kind of blew me away. And some other stuff that's kind of confusing in this movie.
No, that's quite all right. I will say also, I hope this movie on a technical cinematography way is still studied in film school, because there are things in this movie that are really, really amazingly shot. And one thing goes beyond the obvious thing, the car chase, which was super dangerous. Because William Friedkin is a freaking maniac. But there are scenes where people are running, and I think Friedkin is on a dolly beside him, but the way that it looks, they look so freaking fast that, like, just watching a guy running along with the camera is action packed beyond the action of the guy running away from a cop. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I think I get you.
But it just looks so dynamic, the way that he shoots a foot chase, let alone the car chase later in the film. But yeah, anyway.
What's another one of those two that we've talked about in the past? So the city is like an enormous character.
Oh, it's a gigantic cesspool of dirt and grime, and I love it.
Yeah, like I say this, I probably said this on multiple occasions, but I love these movies where you see a lot of the old, like 1970s New York or early 80s. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah. There's such a personality to it, right?
Yeah. There's even New York slices of pizza in this.
Yes. Yeah. And whatever it is that, that's what I was going to ask is whatever that was that he threw out. I guess it was coffee, but, and there's also certain ways that things are shot that are very clearly using natural light, because like the haziness of streetlights shows that there's no other light source than those street lights in some of those scenes.
Right.
It's really soft in that way. And it's like, it's just, again, and I say it a lot. It's like, you don't see movies that look like this anymore. That's for sure.
No, you don't.
Anyway, Jason, we've been boxing you out here.
Yeah. There's a lot to say about this movie and why it exists, right? I mean, I think it certainly is a product of the early New Hollywood. Mm-hmm. It really kind of made Friedkin a player in that circle, cemented then 2 years later by The Exorcist. It's in some ways it's the first of its kind in how it portrays like a cop protagonist, right?
Oh yeah,
a super flawed.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. We'll be talking about that for sure.
Because you don't have too many like examples. You could see sort of a hardening happening in things like In the Heat of the Night or in Bullet. Even the Frank Sinatra's The Detectives. Like there's a sort of a hardening of a persona, even beyond like the film noir. But you definitely have never really had a protagonist cop that's just beating up the common man and using every racial slur known to man. Right? It's I think probably part of the archetype that Dirty Harry became. Was the Popeye Doyle type character. I got the same vibes as you, Chuck, when you mentioned the Italian Plischietti. But the vibe I got big time, especially about halfway through, was Jean-Pierre Melville's, specifically Le Samurai. And I was so curious. I was like, all right, was Friedkin inspired by... I knew he liked the French New Wave. I'm sure he'd seen Le Samurai. And I looked it up, and abso-fucking-lutely. He said almost every element of the movie was crafted to create the same characterizations of Le Samurai. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it worked. He totally did it, because I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, this feels so much like Le Samurai. And boom. Like it is. It is exactly what he was intending to do. That's a great movie. You guys should check it out sometime. Hugely influential. Not just influential on American filmmakers, but on Hong Kong filmmakers, specifically John Woo. But anyway, I've seen this several times, but it's been a while. And I liked it a lot. I also agree with Chuck that it gets confusing and wonky at times. And we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, because
it's mostly third act problems.
But there is a setting change that I find curious too. But we'll talk about that when we get to that portion.
We've now done 4. We've now done 4 William Friedkin films on the podcast. So we
well, we want to only have done 3, but we did that.
We
the
did
first
4,
one we did.
Was that the very first one, or we did to Live and Die in L.A.? Was that
the
first one we did?
I don't know. I
feel
don't
like
remember.
Live and Die in L.A. was before Jade, but Jade was definitely on its heels, and then we did Wages of Fear, Sorcerer, not that long ago, and now we're getting to the French Connection. We still got to do Exorcist, but you did it on Monster Mondays, Jeff.
And I also did The Guardian on Monster Mondays, which is not I like it. I think it's kind of cool. It made me think twice about, when anybody would say I'm a druid, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. Anyway.
Have either of you ever listened to like a William Friedkin interview or an audio commentary?
Well, I've heard him and William Peter Blatty yell at each other. Does that count?
It does count.
Okay.
It does count. He sounds like Donald Trump, and it's really hard to get through.
Yeah,
he's like an articulate, somewhat thoughtful, just as vulgar Donald Trump.
Damn.
Yeah, but his commentaries are actually really gold. I wanted to get through this one before, but I just didn't get a chance. But man, he's very, he thinks a lot of himself, Mr. Friedkin.
Oh yeah. He's also not very good to his actors.
No, he's pretty known for that. I think that what I did read somewhere recently was that Hackman said that he'd never been pushed quite as hard by a director as he had until he worked with Friedkin, and I think that was probably a nice way of putting it.
He was going to quit. He was going to quit this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Friedkin wouldn't let him.
And they never worked together again, I don't think, right? Which
I don't think so, no.
But Scheider, of course, worked with him again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, yeah, because he's the leading sorcerer.
He's the leading sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
Which incidentally I find interesting is the number 1 rated Friedkin movie on Letterboxd is Sorcerer.
Really?
Uh-huh. French Connection is number 2.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. And then you've got The Exorcist at 3.
Well, here's the thing about the French Connection and The Exorcist when it comes to William Friedkin movies. One, The Exorcist comes in with all the blustery, scariest movie of all time.
Yeah.
And that almost sets people up to say, harumph, it isn't going to be the scariest movie of all time. Then they like, kids don't know what they're watching anymore. They don't look at the gold that's before. I'm just kidding. But no, but like it sets people up to almost want to dislike it.
It's like American Pie. Like this is a terrible example, but everyone said it was. Everyone said it was like the funniest movie ever, right? And then I saw it, and I'm like, it was all right.
I mean, it was funny. I mean, it ain't Airplane or Naked Gun.
We'll talk about movies that don't hold up either. Like, oh my god.
Oh sure.
Oh
sure.
Sure.
Most of those '90s comedies have just aged like milk.
But that is one of those movies that had a very, very big like push behind it.
That's why I try to see movies before I know what anybody has to say about them as much as I possibly can, because once you start hearing superlatives like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to like it now. I don't even want to. Yeah, I don't even want to go. But
it's also interesting that you've got, all right, Sorcerer is a 4.2, and that's on a 5-point scale on Letterboxd, right? It's French Connection, Exorcist, and then To Live and Die in L.A. are 2, 3, and 4. But all at average ratings of 4. So it's really close.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing I was going to say about the French Connection is that there are elements of this movie you're going to have a hard time appealing to younger generations now. Because I mean,
even me now, some of it I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, if all cops are bastards, there is definitely one in this.
Oh yeah,
right.
Like if that and he is our protagonist, but it's so important that it's through his lens that, at least the way I see it, that it's like it's why I think it's still the right pick for Best Picture, because it this is madness. that I think this character is going through in a sort of way.
To me, it's real close to this or Clockwork Orange because I think they both pushed boundaries in different ways. Yeah.
And the protagonist was an asshole. And
in both of them, yeah. Well, and you could even argue there are lots of assholes in Last Picture Show, or at least two potentially.
Sure, but it's a different kind of movie.
But that type of movie is full of nostalgia, is full of,
and it's not necessarily a movie we'd never seen before, right?
Sure.
Like
it's just maybe not that adult.
For a different era, right? Yeah.
But
again, still. I would consider Clockwork Orange a new Hollywood picture, even though it was a British picture. It fits in the ethos, the thematic.
Well, it's Stanley Kubrick saying, "Oh, these are the types of movies we're making now. I've been making them for 10 years. Let's go."
Right. You know? And then Last Picture Show certainly does. It's very new Hollywood.
Well, that's Bogdanovich being so kind of high-minded.
I think one of those three was going to win, right? It wasn't going to be Fiddler on the Roof, and it wasn't going to be on Nicholas and Alexandra.
Yeah.
It just was.
I mean, Nicholas and Alexandra was a classic period piece type of nomination. Fiddler on the Roof was the Tony winner that adapted well.
It's another one of those where I wish I could see the vote tallies. Man, it'd be so fascinating to be able to see those. But you know what kind of came to mind too watching this again, Jeff? And I don't know, have you seen Live and Die in L.A., Chuck, or seen it recently?
Not recently. Definitely not recently.
I'm going to watch it again, soon, because it almost feels to me like what if Friedkin had made French Connection 2, what he would have made.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't seen French Connection 2, the actual one.
I always thought that was poorly received, but apparently it was not.
And it won a Gold Globe too. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. We should mention that that this is based on a true crime story. It is based on a book that was written about Eddie Egan and Sonny Grosso, or Grosso, one or the other. Grosso. Grosso is funnier. Who themselves are in this movie. Eddie Egan plays the captain, and Grosso is Agent Klein.
Yeah. All right.
Which is kind of interesting because I didn't know that they were just cops, but that kind of brings back up the idea of what Thief was like, right? Thief had an actor who was a cop who became an actor after quitting the police force and being in Thief.
Sure.
I will also say we have Tony LoBianco. He was freaking excellent in God Told Me To. The Larry Cohen.
Oh, Larry Cohen. Yeah.
He is really good now. I think he passed away kind of early.
He's in the
he died last year.
He's in the 7-Ups a couple years later with Scheider.
Yeah.
It's like
Scheider, he's really good in
the 7-Ups, and Hackman came back for the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, LoBianco is pretty good in this as Boca. But let's unpack the goings on in this.
Yeah, so a French man notices there's a vacuum in the drugs that are going into New York City, basically, and they don't really go through like how this deal was set up at all, but you have a guy in New York named Boca, played by LoBianco, who has somehow gotten in touch with this French dude about heroin, and they devise a plan to bring it into the city. And then you have Hackman and Scheider.
Well, there's already, there is the opening scene also where you have like the French are already on Charnier, the drug supplier, because there's a guy who gets shot in the face and his bread eaten by
Yeah, leave the gun, take the baguette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. And and that's Fernando Rey is playing Frog One.
Yeah, I didn't understand how any of that was relevant. Like, it didn't really make it clear that they were killing that guy for drugs. Like, he was showing they were bad people or something.
They killed that guy. There's a reason why they showed Frog 2, which is Nicoli, killing that guy because that guy was a cop.
Yeah.
So it was to show that they were willing to kill anybody who was getting too close to them, even if it was a cop that would bring extra attention on them.
I didn't even realize that was a cop. I think maybe I wasn't paying well enough attention there. But
because he was following.
Mm-hmm.
And it was had to be done. Had to be done.
So it is important to note that they would kill a cop. Absolutely.
Yep.
And they would pretty much kill anybody in between a cop and them if they had to get to the cop, as we'll find out later.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We'll find that out later.
I guess he comes back for French Connection too. Same character, Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando Rey. Yeah, because Charnier. He's the main. He's the dude. He's the main dude.
It's probably. I'm just going to speculate. It's probably one of those things where it's like Charnier showed up again, and the only person who can track him is Popeye Doyle, and they find him at some desk job, and they have to get him back on the streets, killing people. Yeah,
I'm guessing that particular movie.
Is that how it goes? Is that how it goes, Jeff?
I don't know. I've never seen the second one.
That's probably.
But no, I'm just kind of nodding along with you. It's like I mean,
sounds right.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
All right. So what's happening in America?
Finds out there's a case they're working, and he goes rogue, right? And he's like, he's mine. I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Yeah.
He's probably not even a cop anymore. He's just vigilante justice.
Maybe.
Ooh, he's now Death Wish. He's Death Wish.
Or he's a private dick or something.
Yeah. That's even better. He's probably a private detective. Yep.
Yeah. We're making up our own French Connection too.
The case probably somehow intersects with the real case, right? It's like, they're both the same case.
I
don't even know what's happening anymore. So Jeff, tell us what's happening in America with the two detectives.
So we have Popeye Doyle and Cloudy Russo, and they're kind of, I mean, it's more or less stated that that Cloudy is a maybe the more straight-laced than the two, but he's kind of subservient to his partner. That plays out throughout the course of the movie, where it seems as though he's got a little bit of a better head screwed on his neck, and the other is a wild man. That wild man is Popeye Doyle, Gene Hackman, who they work in narcotics, and they are the top arrest officers in the narcotics division, but they always bring in basically a bunch of small fish.
Low level.
Yeah, it's like they're busting the guys using, not busting the guys selling, more than anything. Or they get the lowest guy on the totem pole, and it's just like, chalk us up for another arrest. And so we see them basically shake down some guys, and it should be noted that they almost always shake down black guys. It's like that's their thing. It's like, go to the black club or to the black bar and find the guy dealing. Well, through the course of this, this is when you first hear them say, because they chase a guy, and this is the first scene where they're having a foot chase with somebody chasing down one of the dealers, and
Popeye is dressed as Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's like outside. It's like, you like Santa Claus, kids?
Oh yeah. He's like traumatizing all these like little black children outside the bar.
Drunk Salvation Army Santa. Basically.
And then pulls a gun and runs after some guy.
Yeah, because Cloudy's inside, and he basically gives he gives a signal. He's like, I'm gonna go do the thing. And then the guy runs out, and then they start the foot chase down the street. And this is one of those scenes where I was like, I don't know if like the camera is on a dolly or if they're in a car, but they're right with the guys running, and it just makes them look like they're running faster than they really are without speeding up the film, right? And it's a dynamic foot chase. But they eventually catch the guy, and they drag him into a alleyway, and they're basically just roughing him up and like trying to get information out of him. And this is
trying
the first
to know
time
if he picked his feet in Poughkeepsie.
this is the first time you hear that line. It's like, you're picking your feet in Poughkeepsie, and the guy's like, what? And I'm like, what? Like,
I was like, what?
Yeah. And
I was like, to the Googles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm too dumbfounded to go to the Googles. But anyway, so he basically says, I don't know where any of this stuff comes from. I don't really. It's like you're picking on the wrong guy. Basically, he's too low level for them to get anything. But Popeye Doyle does eventually hear something that he wants to talk to his partner about. And so he says, hey, let's go. He says, he uses his own name as a fucking verb. It's like, am I watching a Kevin Smith movie here, like Clerks, where he's going to Randall on out of here? I mean, what he says, you want to Popeye on down to the Copa.
Did
basically.
he really say Popeye? Or
Yes. He says, you want to pop?
I thought he said pop on.
No, it's Popeye, because I had to have the damn closed captioning on the whole movie because Amazon did not turn on the English dubbing of the French people talking. So I'm like, I have no fucking idea what these guys are talking about.
Didn't?
No, it does that from time to time, and I had to turn it on.
Weird. It was burned in. It was burned into the.
No, it wasn't on Amazon.
I watched it on TNC and it had it all. Yeah.
Watched it on YouTube TV, actually. Huh.
Yeah, no.
Everything the French people said, it didn't have subtitles.
Some of it, just to say, some of it they did not have.
No, but it would say
French,
speaking French or inaudible whatever. But
most of that stuff wasn't translated anyway.
I had to watch the front of the movie like twice because it's like I feel like I should be knowing what's going on here. Because it just wasn't there in the
beginning too. It's inaudible, so if you didn't know, you couldn't hear it.
No, but
either,
like
that would be tough.
I turned it on in the nightclub scene because I was like, "What the fuck are all these people saying?" It's like a Robert Altman film again, and then I realized this is all inaudible.
Right?
You fucking damn new Hollywood directors!
Don't show people talk if they're not talking.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
But this is where you guys have to indulge me here. This is where we hear the song "Everybody Gets to Go to the Moon," and holy fucking shit, the lyrics, because they were on the screen, and I'm like, this song is fucking insane. It's written by Jimmy Webb.
Yeah.
And here's some of the line. Here's
it was a minor hit for that.
Wish I could chase him on a horse.
Yeah, so there's that. So it's like, oh, I wish there was a way to race him, catch him flying a flying horse, and catch a flying horse and chase him. Everybody's going to the moon. Everybody's going in a weird white suit. It's customary songs like this use a word like spoon so they can fucking rhyme with moon. That's my line after that. But and then later it says it's basically the same thing, but this time it says it's customary. Oh shit, where's it? It's customary songs like this use a word like oh shit.
Spoon. I think they say spoon again.
Well, they use spoon twice. There's
while
June.
You're looking,
it's customary in songs like this use the word June, and it's like, oh my god, this is like fucking Baby's first song lyrics. It's like I hate this song so much, and it's like blaring in the scene, and it's like
a stupid song, but it makes sense. Like we had just gone to the moon.
I know, but it's like this is shit that Up With People would sing at the fucking Super Bowl halftime show.
It's totally
a bad song. It's a terrible fucking song, and it's a hit too. That's the worst thing. It's like
was a hit. Yeah,
no problem finding the fucking lyrics.
The Third
to the song.
Degrees. Yeah, it was a hit.
Yeah.
I wonder if it has any connection to Jamiroquai's everybody's going to the moon.
Probably.
Oh, well, that would make sense because I never liked Jamiroquai either.
Well, you're insane.
The lyrics are totally different, but I wonder if it was in his head.
I mean, it makes sense that the lyrics are stupid, and I get the whole it's customary in a song like this. Like, they're poking fun of cow jumped over the moon and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a dumb fucking song.
Dumb.
It's a terrible song for such an important scene. It's distracting me from the fucking shit that's going on at the table because Popeye Doyle knows that something is up.
This is the first time. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
And he's basically tricked Cloudy to come with him because it's like, what? I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to just come on out, Popeye on down to the Copa and let's have a drink. And the whole time he's like, yeah, and they're like positioned in a way to watch Boca and his wife basically talking to people. And it's like, and Cloudy figures it out. It's like, oh, you brought me here for a reason. And they were going to be out all night now. And it's like, yeah, because somewhere along the way, Popeye is picked up from putting his ear by picking his feet all the way to the cement that something's going down.
Picked his feet all the way to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
All the way to the Copacabana.
At the Copa. Joel Weinstock is there too. And he's the big baddie. So their idea.
Yes, and he is a lawyer too. So it kind of shows you like that kind of runs parallel to the cop thing because like these are people that you don't expect to be on the other side of the law. That do things like they're on one side of the law, but they do things that are not square with the law.
Right. I mean, they didn't show us, but Popeye probably takes money from some people in that town.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Right?
100% he does. Yeah, I have no doubt.
Which I applaud this movie for kind of telling the truth about what some cops, not all cops, I don't want to paint everyone with a broad brush, but we're just not good people. And they got their position of power. And even the things that Popeye does in this movie, half of them are bad.
Well, yeah, they're not even good cops.
No, they're bad cops. I mean, at least Popeye's a bad cop.
You get the sense that Popeye wants to be a good cop. That's why he keeps going after these wild, what do they call them? There's a specific word that they use.
I didn't write it down.
It's a pretty common word. I just can't think of it.
Marks?
No. Hunches. Hunches.
Oh, wild hunches.
Yeah. It's a common word. Yeah.
Well, he's got intuition.
Yeah, but all the cops are just like, yeah, last time you got a hunch, they got a cop killed. Right?
Oh no, that was the FBI that said that.
Yeah. Like, and then his captain is like, he gets a good hunch every now and then. It's like, ringing fucking endorsement.
Yeah, it's like I don't want. If I'm going to find out that a cop has a good hunch, it better be every fucking time because every once in a while means there's a lot of innocent people behind bars.
Look at how difficult cop work actually was 55 years ago. Like to even catch someone in the act of something and all of it, like it's amazing how crazy the follow scenes are in this movie where they're trying to keep track of a guy. So I get it. Like you have to go based on hunches because there's no concrete, there's no paper trail, there's no internet where people are implicating themselves. Sure, but they do have an informant.
I do. Yep. They do. I appreciated that scene. I thought that worked really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where do you want it? He's like, oh shit! I guess right here. He took his punches,
and that's why they're. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but like you said, they're shaking down black bars.
Yeah,
but they have to do it that way in order to keep their informant without the informant being outed. Right, so they have to shake everyone in the place down every time they go there. I don't know why they just don't meet them somewhere else, but still.
Well, whatever. They just want to shake. They know that there's a whole fucking pharmacy underneath that bar.
That was a twofer, man. That was a twofer. They wanted to see what's on the streets,
right,
and talk to their informant.
But they still need to do that every time they go in there. It's all milk out
there on the bar,
right?
Yeah. I do like that Popeye is pretty bad at following people. In a car, he follows too far behind. Even the FBI agent's like, you're going to lose him. And he loses him. Yeah. And on the street, he stays across the street, which is probably the right thing to do. But he gets very easily shaken by a guy who already knows he's following him.
Well, I think it would be easy to, like, yeah, they were all made, obviously, like, immediately.
Yeah.
Which, in that area, you were probably trained, I say trained loosely, on how to observe whether you're being tailed or not, right? Like, it would be hard to tail somebody, I feel like. Cause,
if they're, especially if they're really good at what they do, and Charnier is pretty good at what he does. I mean,
because I doubt I've ever been tailed in my life for any reason, but I always realize when someone's been behind me for more than, a certain amount of time. You're like, that person's been there for a while.
Yeah,
keep my eye on that person.
I also have spatial awareness, so that means when I have a cart at the grocery store, I don't fucking stand in front of somebody awkwardly or in a way that blocks them from coming down an aisle like so many other people at the fucking grocery store doesn't.
Well, people are just like in their own worlds half the time.
They're obsessed. They're self-obsessed. Yeah. They're always talking on the phone on the speakerphone. Yeah, while they're blocking the aisle or fucking people.
All right, let's not.
I want to shake down. I want to shake down some people. Let's go shake down some people.
Shake down some people. So yeah, I don't even know where we're at. I'll shut up.
No, I mean, so basically they go and he's like, all right, so this guy that we were looking at the Copa, that is Boca, Sal Boca. And he was arrested for armed robbery of Tiffany's on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight, but was let off because Tiffany's would not prosecute. That's a little interesting, is it not? Is basically, he says it that way almost as if to say, that's kind of curious. He knows some people, obviously.
Right.
Then he and his wife own it's basically like a
soda shop.
It's like a diner / something else
it's
too.
Just a little kind of cafe deli deal.
Yeah, and it looked like they do something else in there too. Like maybe it's also a newsstand or something. But anyway,
most delis or newsstands in New York, especially in 1970. Yeah,
sure. And so he's like, they pull in $7,000-8,000 a year, but they're partying at the Copa in nice clothing. And why is that? Well, because his wife has the deed to that. So Sal is doing other business, and he's doing that business partly with his brother. He has a brother that's a career criminal as well, and he's got friends with a pretty well-known lawyer.
Previously mentioned Weinstock,
who is he's almost untouchable. He's kind of a big wig, but it's
he's a made man.
I mean, you get that impression that it's like it's going to be really hard to get to him because he's up to no good.
Well, he's
aligned with the law too. Sorry, go ahead.
He's he's a lawyer, but he's also like the guy who can get the money together, right? Yep. So he either knows the criminal bigwigs who can put that kind of money together, or he's putting it together himself. Because he's a rich guy. Yeah.
And
that's kind of one of the things I like about this movie is how it doesn't get so into the criminal organization itself. It's kind of like
just the people.
We've got the French bad guys. These are our two main players plus the actor. We've got our 2 or 3 main New York bad guys. And there's a French connection, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
but what is the French?
All you really need.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, but what we're seeing this from is we're actually this feels like we're on those stakeouts too. Like when they're tired, we're getting tired. When they're cold, it's like, God damn! It's like that looks cold to be standing on the street. In likely December.
They have Hackman like pounding his feet on the ground because I think they're actually cold. They're filming
I'm sure they are
in the winter.
I'm sure William Friedkin's like, you're going to stand out here in the motherfucking cold, or I'm going to punch your fucking eyeballs out.
I'm going to give you actual like dog shit, piss water, coffee.
Right.
He does not look happy about that coffee at all.
No.
That might have been what won him the Oscar.
That one reaction.
I think what won him the Oscar is that he made a slice of pizza disappear.
Yeah,
that
Did
is
you
true.
see
it
that?
just vanished. Yeah,
He was like El Azabuchi, Alakazam.
William Friedkin's like, then William Friedkin says, "Drink this, and I'll win you an Oscar." I swear. While he shoots you artistically through the restaurant window, which is a beautiful shot, by the way.
Right. And at this point, I'm pretty sure at this point, Frog 1 and Frog 2 have already made the fact that there's a guy standing there this whole last time.
Oh, they know. They knew they were tailed like immediately.
Yeah. And now there is a little bit of back and forth in the early stages of the movie before Frog 1 and Frog 2 arrive that we do meet a washed up actor who is basically being brought over as well as kind of like he's kind of a cover for why these other two French guys are in the country.
Well, they need a way. It's not just that. They need a way to smuggle the drugs in. So they can't really fly. They got to be careful about customs. They need a big enough celebrity, like someone who's well known enough to where there'll be less eyes on him.
Less conspicuous.
Right. Maybe the customs aren't going to be as rigorous.
Now they're still going to be careful, and they are with how they smuggle the drugs in. But he's kind of like they're sort of reason to be with them. He's maybe their lackeys, but also he's the there'll be less restrictive in like what Chuck was saying with the customs and all of that.
Yeah. So and this and basically
less
this guy
suspicion.
Yeah.
Plus,
you get the impression
kind of could double as a patsy too.
Right? Yeah. Well, because he doesn't really know what he's doing.
He doesn't. No.
Like they're real careful about what they tell him. And Frog 2, what's his nuts?
Frog 2.
Frog 2, yeah, Nicoli. Basically says, why do we need this guy? We don't need this guy. Let's get this guy. Yeah, it's like this. He's one more guy that we have to keep.
I don't trust him,
and I don't trust him. And it's like, and Charnier is like, don't worry about it.
He legitimizes a space.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, it does work, right? Because it takes an incredible stroke of luck.
I don't understand that fucking shit at all, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. But but it is relatively, it is a stroke of luck that Cloudy ends up seeing what he sees.
Yes.
Because I mean that's why I think Cloudy is the better of the two cops. He's more meticulous, at least.
He's not drunk
his attention to detail. Right. He's the brains, right?
Yeah. But the problem is that he is a little bit more subservient to Popeye and is the one who basically says, "I trust my partner's guts, even if he's not 100% sure that his partner's guts are correct."
Well, that's what you gotta do. We'll follow it. We'll follow it. You know? We'll track it down. We'll see what's what.
They're both good at different things, though. I don't think that Cloudy's decidedly the better cop because he never would have caught the dude that was on the train. Not a chance in hell.
Sure.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
No. I mean,
he probably wouldn't have had the tenacity to go through that. But quite honestly, was that the right move? I mean, how many untold people died in that chase?
Well, I don't know about that, but it's the only reason they got their case back is because he got fired at and was able to.
But I mean, getting fired at and then escalating that chase are two totally different things.
I don't know. People do the cops do those crazy ass chases all the time.
I know
that it's a cop movie and it's Gene Hackman character of this character, Popeye, but I don't necessarily think that all of that made him a good cop. That's all my.
Well,
I didn't say he was a good cop. I just said.
But you were using that to compare him to Scheider, who you said isn't as good a cop because he wouldn't.
I said better.
That guy.
I said he's not necessarily better. I'm
Yeah,
not
he did
reading
say
how
better.
good they are.
He did say better. I mean, that they're good at different things was
But
his
again, I
primary.
wouldn't necessarily think his choices would be worse than Popeye's in the same situation.
Don't know.
All I know is that chase ends with something so iconic, it's the fucking poster.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and also, I'm not entirely certain that Clint Eastwood would have ended that scene that way. I don't think he would have shot him in the back. But that's, but I think that shows a little bit of Popeye Doyle is going to get the results the right way or the wrong way. He's going to get the results, though.
Right. I mean, yes, he is the. There's so many American cop movies and lots of Italian ones.
Yeah.
Probably more Italian ones that looked at that character and were like, yeah, we're going to make 100 movies about just that type of guy. Yep.
Yeah. Just that guy, yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's like I said, it's the birth of the modern day anti-hero.
Yeah.
Nor had the hard drinking private dick who would shoot you straight and say what he felt and say what, and not trust everybody around him. This is a whole different breed over here with Popeye Doyle and all that would come after that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so they bring the car in. It's all like craned down. Like Tom Cruise is going to pick it up and try to get it to pass the environmental protection. He's going to sell it, and he's going to go on a road trip with his brother.
I know Brinley would have been like, oh, that flying car graphics are terrible.
Yes. What is this car supposed to be flying?
The 70s suck.
Oh my god, that's so good. But they get the car in, so you can see that. You say, all right, that's got the drugs in it, right? That car, car's riding dirty.
That car's dirty.
Not only that is it. I mean, like you see it entirely craned out, and it's like, yeah, we're paying a lot of attention to this guy, and the whole time I'm thinking, it's like, I guess you can just drive a foreign car with foreign plates wherever the hell you want.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
But I mean, 70s were a different time.
Yeah, well, I've seen at the car wash when I used to work there, I used to see foreign plates a lot.
Well, I would see like Canadian plates from time. I mean, you see Ontario plates a lot around here. I think you
just get some kind of special permit that you carry. You don't have to put it on your car. Yeah.
Did you check the rocker boards? God damn it! When you were washing those cars and detailing.
Come on, Jeff.
Open up those rocker boards.
Like, what the fuck? What are you telling me? We haven't checked that yet. But no. This is where we get they get the wire up, right? Because they need to figure out what's his name? Sal is talking to. Like, what's his deal? Like, they know he's up to something, but they don't know what. So they get the captain to get the wire up, which I still don't understand how the hell he was able to convince them to do that on like the evidence they had, which is none.
Well, I mean, it goes back to him. Every now and then he has a pretty good gut, and that was when
but you still
and Cloudy
need to
was
sign
like,
off on it, and I wish we would have gotten that scene of the captain leaning on some like judge asking for the wire. It's like, well, this is pretty flimsy. It's like, I don't know. You better find something. Add that extra tension.
I would say that it might have been easier on somebody like Boca who had something of a record, even if the charges weren't pressed. That he has done some stuff in the past. He also.
Like everyone tells them, even the feds says you don't have anything. Like, what are we wasting our time on? Right?
I mean, yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, it would have been a nice little bit of characterization. It would have been a nice little extra upping of the stakes, right?
Although what we do get is
for Popeye, but for like his superiors, right?
Sure. Well, what we do get is a pretty funny scene of them laughing about all these phone conversations that are going on.
Oh my gosh, we do get that. We do get the stakeout montage.
Yes. And just how much entertainment they're getting from his wife wanting a pizza after hours.
Pizza after hours. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. You guys have had how many of those beers?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing it gets pretty boring on stakeouts. I mean, there's one whole scene where like Scheider's asleep, and he might have really been asleep. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Nobody sleeps on a William Friedkin set.
Well, if it's 4:10 in the morning, I bet they would.
Nope, it's impossible. But
I mean, what's he do? Does he come around with a Sharpie and like draw little dicks on their forehead?
No, he's just fucking loud all the time. He's always yelling at people. Be like, wake up, Scheider. All right, so, but they do get the piece of information they're waiting for, or at least they think it is, and they're right. It's there's a meet, sounds shady. Not a whole lot of information in it, just a time and a place, and there's a French-sounding person on the other end of the line.
This is that guy is the guy who's actually on the other, like, isn't he like basically the guy that's like translating for Devereaux, the actor?
Oh, is he? I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought they were just talking. Most French people talk English. I thought he was just talking in English.
No, there were 4 French people, because there was the actor, the Frog 1 and Frog 2, and then there was a translator.
Sure.
I thought it was Charmier that was on the phone, but yeah.
Might have been, but I don't think he spoke English.
It doesn't really matter. I don't even think we see them talk in that scene. It's just
all
hear
through
it on the wire.
Yeah, it's on the wire. Yeah.
Anyway, they're like, all right, we got our meat. So let's find out what we got to do to get that to happen. And this is when they have to get the Fed. They get a Fed sent with them, and they don't like that. The Fed doesn't like them because they've gotten a cop killed before on one of their hunches.
And they're really not going to like him by the end of this. But the key thing is, if they need to buy anything,
had a good hunch. I'll tell you that.
yeah. But if they end up with if they end up in a situation where they want to go and buy something, they can basically suckle the teat of Uncle Sam and get whatever money they need.
Why do we need a Fed? Because our department has $908 to make buys.
Yeah.
$908.
Just a quick thing. Charmier does speak English because he meets Boca in Washington, and he speaks English with them.
That's right. He does. Yeah, that's right.
Also,
but I don't think Charnier is making it.
Doesn't matter.
Though.
I'm just
no. You're right. You're right. You're right. I do remember.
There's one thing too that I thought was so weird and funny. Right when they land, and the press, the American press, is talking to the French actor guy. And they make a comment about, you once said that so-and-so mayor of New York was the sexiest man in the world. What do you have to say about that? And then the translator translates it to him. So no, it couldn't have been the actor who was talking to him because he doesn't know English. It had to have been the translator, if anyone. That might be the scene you're thinking about. Because the translator then translates the reporter's question to the actor.
Well, no, the translators...
The translator translates what the reporter asks to, and translates it to the actor.
Yeah, because the translator is always with the actor, but he's also setting up certain things with Frog 1 and Frog 2.
Maybe, but we don't see that in the wiretap call. But regardless, what he answers is so funny. But the question is also really weird. Like, where did all of this come from? Like, the question is weird, and then his answer is hilarious. He says, "To la femme."
For the girls. I think it's not that he said that so-and-so is the sexiest man. They're asking him what he thinks about somebody else being named the world's sexiest man.
Oh, what do you think about that? Why would they ask him that?
Because he's a sexy man too.
Oh,
and
so
he probably was up for it. Okay. It's a little jokey kind of thing.
I mean, I get asked that.
The girls.
But no, but then his answer is weird. So
he's like, the girls think he's sexy. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm kind of like, well, what does he
makes
say?
total sense to me. He's saying,
Yeah, it made sense to me.
Like, I think the girls think he's sexy. I don't.
Yeah, I don't, but yeah.
They're asking if he thinks he's sexy, but
No,
I didn't realize it was a competition.
They're asking what he thinks about the fact that somebody else was named the world's sexiest man.
So is he implying that he's the world's sexiest man to La Home?
No, he's implying that he doesn't think the world's sexiest man is sexy. Women do.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still odd.
Jason, trust me. Every year I get asked why I finished second in the People's Sexiest Man of the Year award, and I always have to say, and I'm like, you know what? The girls think he's sexy.
Like, it's a straight world, especially in 1970. Like, duh. Like, it's weird. I don't know.
It's all that kind of vapid, celebrity reporting shit.
Right, and he would slough it off. Is like, I'm not.
I guess
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. And then meanwhile, he's like trashing his hotel room over it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine.
This is when we get the stakeout now, and they're back in this. They're in the city. This is where we have the pizza that disappears. We have the bad coffee, stomping their feet. It's a little bit of a stakeout montage, and there is that great shot of Popeye out on the street spitting his coffee out, and the camera has zoomed through the window and put him in focus, and he makes that face and he spits out his coffee, and he's just like, you can tell he's just angry being there right now. And then the camera comes back into the foreground, and our two French guys, Frog 1 and Frog 2, are just eating the best of the most rich French foods and everything, and just laughing it up and having a good old time. Yeah.
Did anyone else notice those old school French onion soup crock pots that every fucking restaurant used to have, the brown beige ones?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm still convinced that French onion soup tastes better in those.
Well, I'll go one step further. We sort of had something similar to that, except for they were all brown. When I worked at Steak and Shake and people ordered beans, we would load them up with the beans and we would put them in the warmer.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yep. And they looked basically like those Crocs, except for a little bit smaller.
And they didn't have the big ridge around the outside.
Yeah, it just had a thin one around it. Yeah, but no, I'm sure that's served now in like fucking styrofoam or something now.
I don't know, actually. I haven't gotten beans there.
They maybe don't even have beans anymore.
I'm sure it's styrofoam, but yeah, if they have them at all. Yeah. I think I got rid of cottage cheese for a while.
It's not there that I've seen. I've been once in like the last year to get some cheese fries.
Once I got like 3 consistently soggy Frisco melts, I was out. I was like, nope, you guys are dead to me. It's never coming.
Yeah,
back.
you gotta eat in, because the moment they put it in the styrofoam, it's fucked at that point. Yeah.
Well,
all that condensation.
It wasn't always like that. I've had plenty of good Frisco melts in the styrofoam to take out before.
Well, maybe you're just blinded by the rose-colored glasses of nostalgia.
I don't think so. There was a very specific time when I remember Steak and Shake that we went to a lot in my neighborhood went to fucking hell, and I was in Steak and Shake.
Did you talk about the one on 35 or near you now?
It's still there. I think it's a drive-through only. Now, the lot
you're talking about the one in your area now, or
yeah, Keystone and gotcha. Well, I guess I shouldn't totally throw it under the bus, but
everybody.
Yeah, we're about to get a Steak and Shake. They're about to give us money.
We're about to dock Steak and Shake.
Yeah, we're never gonna get that Steak and Shake sponsor.
We're a little too liberal for Steak and Shake. I'll tell you that much.
That's true.
Well, they are from Florida, so
they RFK'd their fries and brought back tallow.
Oh my!
Which I mean, beef tallow fries are good, but like saying we're RFKing our fries is fucking ridiculous.
That is so ridiculous.
They actually said that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No!
Well, let's not get too far into this.
All right, whatever.
Have I heard yet to go back? So yeah.
So anyway, oh god. So anyway, they Popeye Doyle and Cloudy Russo end up getting a call about a dead roadkill bear in Central Park that got dumped there suddenly overnight.
Well, Gene Hackman definitely is a worm eating his brain in this movie, like for sure.
He's going a little crazy. Okay, so basically, this is where it's like some of so like Hackman's like, I'm gonna stay on Frog 1. You guys follow Frog 2.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or the other guys. And so they all split up, and eventually it gets to the point where he follows Frog 1 back to the hotel he's staying at.
Yeah.
And he watches the elevator because, again, he's a little late to see much of anything, but he watches the elevator go up to the 6th floor. And then he comes over to the desk and it's like, hey buddy, that fellow that just went into the...
What's his name?
Yeah, what's going on with that? And then it cuts to him basically telling Cloudy, it's like, oh yeah, they made me. He's like, he went up to the 6th floor, but he's staying on the 4th floor.
Oh yeah, Sal said he got made too. Like the only one that didn't make him was it was one
of the FBI guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The FBI got made too. He said that in the call.
Oh yeah. Cloudy wasn't made.
The second guy, whoever the second guy was, doesn't get made because he ends up in Washington when they're both there.
Yes, that was
right.
That's Molderig.
Yeah, Molderig. Is that Molderig?
I believe it's either Molderig or Klein, one or the other.
Yeah,
I
think it's the other one. I think it's Klein because Molderig's the one that says
that's Molderig Molderig is always with Cloudy and Popeye.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. So yeah, it was Klein.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, but he sticks around. He's going to wait for him to come out of the hotel later. And this is really, oh my God, this whole sequence is fantastic.
Down in the subway is fucking.
It's
oh
the best.
My God.
It's after the obvious car chase, this is the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
This is also like extremely French. This scene. Like, it's a French gangster movie to the T. This scene.
Yeah. I mean,
it's also a little bit like, a little bit Pink Panther. Like,
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's kind of funny and cheeky in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's like, yeah, first of all, he follows him, and you can see that Frog 1, even though he's looking at the thing in the window, he's looking at the reflection. It's like, that motherfucker is across the street. It's like, this guy is chasing me. And they get into the subway, they get on a train, it stops at one of the stops, and he, they get out. He goes and gets an orange juice, which, by the way,
grape drink.
Well, grape drink doesn't end up in his hand. What ends
he
up
has an apple.
He has a candy apple. Yeah,
editing. Steph was like grape means apple.
Well,
I was like, I'll let it go.
A lot of people, a lot of foreigners coming over to New York getting jobs. They can't always know what exactly you're asking for.
Shit.
At the juice stand. But I found that funny. It's like, it's a good thing there isn't an Oscar for continuity.
Right. Well, the missing pizza and the apple, like there's some shit that happens in this movie.
Yeah. But anyway, no. This is like, he follows him back on the train. He gets off the train, and then he ends up not being able to get back on the train.
It's like cat and mousey until Hackman's the one that makes the last bad move, or Popeye makes the last bad move, and is like, fuck.
Yep. And this is peak filmmaking
it's really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of it even though it is edited, it feels like a long shot. Does that make sense? Like, it feels it's kind of a one take, but it's not, and it is, and it obviously isn't, but it feels
right, because there's camera change,
absolutely,
perspective. Yeah. But yes, it does feel like you're sitting down there in the subway with them during all the jumps out of the train and stuff like that. Yeah, and this is when Charnier has told Boca, "You have to meet me in Washington because we've been made." Basically, I'm not going to talk to you in New York. It's too dangerous. And Boca had talked to Weinstock a little bit earlier, and Weinstock's like, I need a few more days.
So they take it to Weinstock's chemist, the hippie chemist guy.
Oh, that guy's
180,
great.
we're burning.
Yeah,
190, whatever. He is great.
I love that. I love that scene. It injects a little bit of youthfulness into the movie, I think, and just kind of a weird,
because he's using street
perspective of the
lingo.
criminality, right?
Yeah, he's using street lingo for what you would say about the H that you got too.
Yeah, I dig that scene a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically he's sitting there to legitimize what is being sold to them.
Yeah. If it's all like this, we're making $32 million, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, is it worth $1 million down, though? And that's when...
it's only $500,000.
Yeah, it's only $500,000.
I was like, man, that's cheap.
Yeah, and he's like, and Weinstock's like, this is a big investment. I need to sit on it for a couple of days. Which then he takes that information to Washington.
Yep.
And he's like, and you're right, Chuck. I kind of missed or got distracted when he mentioned the fact that they had to go because they were made. I was just like, oh, they could shoot in Washington this day. Okay, cool. So okay, whatever. Europeans probably think all of our cities are the same place. Like we think all of their cities are the same place. I don't know.
I think
it's all Europe.
There's a couple like they realize are pretty distinctive though. Like,
I guess.
one of them. But $4 million is what that is in 2025 money.
How much would the 32 million be then?
Good
like
question.
160?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be like
is that like an
190?
exponential, or can you straight times 4 that shit? You can just
Should be able to straight times
It's
4.
about $255,000.
Woo!
Sorry, $255 million.
Woo wee.
Yeah, that's a
pretty
good chunk
sweet.
of change. That's a blockbuster movie.
yeah. I'm gonna finance.
Not in this
movie.
economy.
But anyway, yeah, they meet and Boca says, "I need time," and Charnier's like, "Oh fuck."
You think I'm an idiot? Is that what you think this
you think
is?
I'm an idiot? Like we are moving. We have to move by Friday. It has to be done by Friday or whatever the day is. And that's when the second guy, Nikolai, meets Charnier on the train back, or the plane back, excuse me. And Charnier says that cop, the cop that was chasing you, is our problem. And he's like, well, I can take care of him. Bringing us back to the earlier scene in the movie where they killed the cop. So the next move is we're going to kill him. Concurrently, I don't know why we end up at this car wreck with all the major players in the movie. It makes no fucking sense to me. While like 2 teens died in a gruesome car accident.
Oh yeah.
And this is where the conversation takes place where they say you're off the special force or the special task shit. Go back to your normal work. Like, why are they all there? It makes no sense.
That's one of those things I feel like you saw a lot in the later, police Gettys, right? Where they would put this as a random scene of gruesome violence in.
Yeah.
But I mean, did it inform that?
Probably.
Because I don't know why it's there either. It's really,
I think,
It informed them, yeah.
It informed the Italians for sure, yeah.
If anything, I look at it as they don't. So the main characters here are having this conversation in the face of a pretty horrific accident, and they are not at all caring about what
I
happened.
think they're trying to give us perspective about these people, but it doesn't make sense why they're there.
The
Either way.
the compartmentalization,
I get what you're saying.
I think is the point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's like, wow, these guys don't give 2 shits about the thing that the audience is reacting to,
and how just blasé they are about even discussing it. Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, the main thing is, though, I think really the main thing is that it's the two feds with the 2 cops on the case who just so happen to run into or be also with the captain. Kind of, I feel like it's like a reporting thing.
It could have been just that. It's like, hey, this is where I am. You got to come here.
Yeah.
Right. I got called out for this terrible car accident. You got to come here and report on what's going on.
I'm good with the reasoning that it was just to show how callous they are, regardless of why to them.
Yeah.
It still makes no sense to me, even though you make a good point that it could be that.
It makes more sense to me than the sexiest man alive thing, but
Pour la femme.
to la femme.
Through the film.
So they get taken off the case, but fortunately they get put right back on because Nikolai is like fucking sniper on the roof.
Except for he's going to shoot a lady walking her baby first.
Well, I think he's a bad shot.
Yeah, he's really good, really close.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it again. I should have rewound it because I don't know if he like maybe leans down to say
It's
"Hi to
possible,
baby," and
yeah.
he like fucks up his shot or what it is, but hits.
It is kind of a quick, like they
the
don't
mom
set it
instead.
up. It just
No, that's the thing
happens.
about this movie. There's not a lot of establishing anything.
It's
Right.
lean.
Right, you're
It's
just
a
in it.
lean
Establishing
movie.
shots.
You're just in it.
You're
Yeah.
just in
Well, it's told like you're reading a book.
it.
It's like you're told reading the facts of the book that was published. You know, like it's like on this date this happened.
Yeah,
He's-
he
that's
said a lot
good.
of the style was very documentarian like. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
I
also
mean,
it puts you kind of in the position of the characters because it doesn't matter what you were doing before that thing happened. That thing
now you're
happens.
doing this thing.
Yes, and that's the way we view it.
Oh,
Yep.
Costa Gravis is V or Z. Sorry, that makes sense as another influence. Yeah.
Ah.
Yep.
I'm like, I know exactly what that
Ah.
is. When I don't, in fact, know what that is.
Well,
Yeah, same here.
Costa Gravis, his son is the one who made that crazy French movie a couple years ago that I was obsessed with. That had
Fried
all
Berry?
the one shots. That had all the one shots with the French apartment complex.
Oh, I think
It
I
was
remember.
his son who made that.
Okay.
What was the name of that? I can't remember.
Hey, you're so obsessed with it.
I was completely. I watched it.
So obsessed you forgot the name.
I can't remember
Like
the name.
some people just like have these micro fucking crazy obsessions. Jason's one
I
of
have
those people.
no idea what you're talking about, Chuck.
Yeah, I do. But I don't
Although I
always
will
remember
say,
everything.
I will say,
Athena was the name of it.
that's
Yeah.
it. Yes,
Yeah, I
Yes.
love that movie. Yeah.
you did.
It was
I
his
thought
son
it
who
was
made
okay.
that. Yeah,
I thought it was
Costa
okay.
Gravis. He's pretty. He's a heavy hitter. Heavy
In
hitter.
France, you said he's French.
I believe so. Yeah, French Greek. Okay.
I was gonna say Greek second, actually.
Yeah. Costas. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, basically this is the scene of the movie. He realizes he's being shot at. He goes upstairs to the roof where the shooting was happening. Somebody could have gotten a free gun and some bullets. That's, you know, he left that shit behind.
Hackman gets down those stairs fucking fast.
Well, I don't think he's running. I think he just like goes, huh, and then he just like tumbles down.
I told Steffi flew. He was like El Azabuchi, and he.
Well, he's flying down like Superman. He wants to be he hates Superman so much because he wants to be him.
Yeah.
So he gets down there and like he sees the Frog 2 Nikolai goes to the train, the L in New York. And a lot of people don't realize that yes, New York has L's.
Yeah. Not all of it is underground.
Yeah, some of it's above ground. Not all of
Brooklyn,
the
lot of elevated trains in Brooklyn.
and not all of Chicago's L system is above ground.
That's true too.
Anyway, so he's basically like has to commandeer some poor bastard's car. And
Oh, this guy. When am I gonna get it back?
Oh my
Nev-
god!
never.
I said out loud, never.
yeah,
I think I said you're not gonna want it back. I'm like,
yeah. I'm also pretty
You're
sure.
right. He might get it back, but not in the condition even close to what he wants to.
I'm also pretty certain that guy was not an actor or part of the crew. It was just like, hey, Gene, go take that guy's motherfucking car.
We need realism.
We need realism.
Although the New York City Police Department is very good at finding an exact replica of cars quickly.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Well,
that
they might
brown.
have found this guy's car.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
I
was
would
the
say
other
a
car.
brown
That was the other car, right?
Oldsmobile. It was an Oldsmobile, right? That they was it? I think it
Later,
was- Yeah,
later it was a little darker.
The duplicate. Yeah. I think he says it's a brown Oldsmobile. That was pretty common in 1971.
Sure.
I'm sure.
I mean, but,
well, dummy me. I was.
But thinking, they were also there for
really
4
put
hours.
That together fast.
Wow, 4 hours.
Not a scratch on it.
Part of me was
like
waiting
ripping the shit out of that thing.
Yeah. Part of me was waiting for the Part of me was also waiting for the
when you're a kid, right? Put it back together. No big deal. Oh, just maybe missed.
We'll just reupholster this thing in 5 minutes. It's great.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the comedy edit.
Find another model.
Sorry, Jeff. You're not going to get this.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Whatever it is, now go.
No, right, I'm not. Because no, never mind. It's past. My moment is past.
Oh no.
Anyway, so he gets in the guy's car and he's chasing after the train above him, basically. And I mean, this is all real. Like they're just screaming down the road. I mean, like there's a little old lady next to the road who almost gets fucking obliterated.
I'm sure they shut down the fucking road.
They did.
And had stand-ins there.
They did.
But it was not well blocked.
Safety standards were not the way they were now in the 70s. That is true. But
well, I mean, safety standards are a fucking hindrance on a William Friedkin movie.
They probably didn't have. What they probably didn't have was, and I don't know the whole story behind
a sane person behind the camera.
Well, same person behind the camera, but people who were stationed at particular areas, keeping people off the shooting area. Like they probably didn't have a lot of those people, and so people were probably wandering in to dangerous situations. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few people, who maybe shouldn't have been there, that almost got hurt.
But this is not, it's also not a continuous shot. You're shooting 10 feet of it or 20 feet of it, then you're moving the camera and shooting another 20 feet of it.
One best editing, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, because it looks like one continuous shot in a lot of ways. And the way they have the train under the car, like, I don't know how they line that up.
Yep.
It's insane. And I'm like, okay, this is like beyond Steve McQueen level shit. Driving through the city, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it was, I think, designed to out-bullet, right?
Yeah. It outshot the bullet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Outshot, like with the camera.
Well, and that was the thing. It's like the camera on the front bumper, basically showing the low. Like basically being on the street. I mean, that's shit you didn't really see before this. Not at those speeds.
They should have just used this for Naked Gun, like the police squad camera.
But superimpose a little siren on it.
Yes.
By the way, Bill Hickman.
Why didn't he just slap one up on the top of the hood of that car? It would have been like.
Because it wasn't his car.
Would have been I know, but he doesn't just carry that around with him.
He's got it.
He produces it from his. Although it would have also been funny if he opened up the glove box and was like, "Well, holy shit, this guy's a cop."
This guy's a cop.
Like, oh, that's useful.
Yeah, thanks.
Man. That would have been Naked Gun. That's Naked Gun. Almost worthy, not quite, but
he just produces it from his breast pocket. But
breast pocket. Now that would be Naked Gun for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or under his hat.
Yeah. Bill Hickman was the guy who coordinated that whole scene, and he was Agent Moldering in the movie. So there you go.
Yeah.
Saving a little bit of money, a little cheese on the getting a little bit of a stunt coordinator also who can act.
Absolutely. Double duty.
Yep.
Crazy.
So basically now Nikolai does realize that he can't stop at the next station, that he's going to be had. So he decides, well, I'm going to shoot a cop, and then I'm going to go and commandeer my own vehicle, this fucking subway car.
Right.
And
yeah.
And then like the I don't know who are the cops on a subway.
So
What?
there is usually
Transit
some
authority.
kind of
Transit authority? Yeah, okay.
top.
That's what I figured.
And then the other people is one of the guys that works on the train, probably a mechanic or something.
Yeah. I'm
He's
sure
also
there's
on
a
the
guy
train.
other than the driver is there for
and
something.
when they
yeah.
don't stop at 25th Street, that guy's like, we got to get up there.
Yeah.
And he's also realized that somebody's been shot. And then there's other people that are
And then
just
there's this fucking
following
New
him.
Yorkers, man.
Yeah. New Yorkers who are going to go up there and say, well, let me take care of this and slap them around.
Yeah, if you messed with one of us, you messed with all of us. Green Goblin.
Little Spider-Man action.
Yeah.
I kind of was wondering, like, where is Spider-Man? Because they need him.
I know. He needs
Yeah.
him to stop the fucking train. We're going
Yeah,
to see
you need
that
to put his webs on.
in about a month. We're going to see that. We're going to see him stop that train.
So was he able to, like, hit the brakes at all? Because it looked like they had no brakes, but then it sort of screeched.
I don't think
end
it
of
screeched.
the
I
scene.
think
Well,
it
no,
hits-
I think he
it
hits the brake, but too late, and it hits a car in
That
front
would
of
have
him.
been a much bigger crash.
Well, that's why Spider-Man's up front trying to slow that motherfucker down.
That shot was obviously like, we don't have the money to do
Yeah.
this fucking wreck. Because because they film
Not
it
back then.
like
Some
they're
kind of
in,
part of that train should have gone off that track.
yes, they film it like they're on the front of the train, but in reality, it's just the camera zooming in on the train that they're going to hit and stuff.
Yeah.
So it conveys the point, but maybe
Also,
as well as it can.
The old
crashes.
guy,
That's
the
what
old
I
guy
mean by,
driving
like,
the
how
train.
many fucking people died? I guess you can't lay that necessarily on Popeye though, because this guy,
No, he was going
guy's
to
a
do that
maniac.
anyway.
This guy's
he was
a
going to
maniac.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There are
It's
two
fair
maniacs
enough.
here. One is a maniac with a car. One's a maniac with a subway train.
Yeah. It's fair enough. That guy's definitely like out of control, and they're both sort of out of control, but in their own control.
Because
right?
in
They're
reality,
not influencing each other really that much.
that's what I was going to say. In reality, he doesn't see the car underneath the train tracks. He doesn't know he's.
He just
Right,
knows
right.
that the guy will probably be at the next station.
Right,
At
which
25th
is,
Street,
which
yeah.
is like, it's a very, very reasonable thing to assume, and he does, and then he's not there, and then he realizes, oh shit, that's the oh shit moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not good.
And so, and basically, did the driver of the train, did he die or just pass out?
I think he has a heart attack.
I think he has a heart attack
Okay.
too. Yeah,
That's
just what
there's
I
a
think.
bit of a Mandela effect with that scene. I was reading about the differences between the censored version that came out a couple years ago, and then the outrage over that, and then it becoming uncensored again. And somebody says they remember maybe that guy or somebody else when they get shot or die, like clutching a rosary. And I think they said the train operator clutching a rosary. It's like, I didn't see that in that scene, and I don't ever remember that in that scene. So I think there's a weird, for that guy, maybe a Mandela effect.
Interesting.
But I was curious if anybody else had heard that before.
Probably another train conductor in another movie does that
Probably.
or something. Who knows?
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
Especially because he said he got shot, and he most certainly does not get shot. He dies of like a heart attack.
Yeah, I
either
thought he
passes
just
out or has a
Clutches
heart
his
attack.
chest or something. Yeah.
I mean, he slumps over at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's heart attack or passing out.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but and this is where Nikolai and Popeye face off, and one scene earlier, Popeye picks up a woman, and like you see him strap his gun to his ankle. He always keeps his gun to the ankle.
Somebody
because
even mentions it. And
it's
says
moldering.
he's-
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you do that so that the women don't know that you're a cop, so you can press up against. It's like, ugh. Anyway, but anyway, one thing is true about Popeye. He drinks, he fucks, he shoots, and he's gonna shoot you in the back if he gets a chance. And the guy tries to run, hold it, bang. Quicker than that, hold it, bang, and the guy is killed. And at this point, it's like, well, I guess you guys were right.
That stunt fall down the stairs is really good. Whoever that stunt man is, I'm like, he just ate shit down those stairs. Real good.
He just ate
William
that shit right
Friedkin
up.
was like, he gave the guy like some drug to knock him out and let him roll down.
No,
the stairs.
he was actually shot by Gene Hackman.
Friedkin had him like secretly like fish wire tied to him somewhere, and he just pulled him.
Pulled him. Yeah. he Lauren Burston him.
He Popeyed him down the stairs.
Down the stairs.
Anyway,
Let's go
so
Popeye down there.
Yeah. So so at this point it's like, all right, well, they do another stakeout where they are watching after this car because they follow Boca and his wife again. I like that his wife always goes out wearing a blonde wig.
Yeah, she disguises herself.
Which is wild, but I think it's just like she just wants to be blonde when they go out.
Maybe that's what got her the misdemeanor only. She got off cheap.
Yeah.
But it was a blonde woman driving
no conspiracy charge for her.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
You could maybe make the argument that she really was not involved with this.
Yeah, maybe.
She does the car drop offs.
I think the actor could make the same argument.
Yeah, I mean the actor could like
to la fin. But here's where the movie starts to get wonky for me.
So they're watching the car and they're like he figures out that they brought this car in. But it has to be.
But is there a time shift? He meets back up with Scheider after just killing this guy by shooting this guy in the back in broad daylight, and now it's like a little bit later in the evening, and he's meeting.
I think it's probably a little bit later.
There's like so much thing in between those two things that I feel
there's something on the cutting room floor of them meeting back up. There's got to be. But here's what I don't understand.
It's awkward, like getting from that end of that scene to the beginning of the next scene.
I don't know. I mean, again, there's not a whole lot of fat on this movie where there's a lot of establishing stuff. So it might have just been a decision where it's like, okay, now we're a couple of days later, and we're going to go on this.
Why the fuck do they leave the car in this neighborhood? It makes absolutely zero
and I agree with
sense.
that now too. What is are they expecting the cops to pick it up? And they're expecting them not to find the drugs? Like, that's a lot of risk to take. I agree with you absolutely.
At all.
I have no understanding of why they do it. Yep.
And then, because of the neighborhood they leave it in and the car that drives around twice, you're like, well, those people have absolutely nothing to do with this. But obviously, they're going to try to steal the car.
Right.
And get the cops out, which is exactly
all made sense. And I was like, oh, yeah, I see what's happening here. Right. Yeah.
But it's still like, are you just trying to show that element of New York? Like, what is the reason to make this?
I wonder if...
I don't understand the plan. I just don't.
Here's what I mean, because one thing is we know that they still want to tail Boca.
It's Sal who drops the car off too, right? It's
Sal Boca that drops it off.
He's got the drugs.
Yes. Why does he have the drugs?
He hasn't even given them the money.
Well,
what's going on?
My guess is that. Because really, honestly, they have hidden the drugs really, really well in the car. But Sal is not going to think like, well, I better tear this car up right away. But
why is Sal moving the car to this neighborhood? Why does he even have it?
This is absolutely the reason why I docked this from a 5-star movie to a 4-star movie, because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, and again, maybe this is something that's in the book that just didn't get adapted. But the only thing I can think of is that the car for whatever reason was in the garage near Boca's place, and he was just needing to get it to Devereaux, who's the guy at the end of the whole thing with the car, is the one who's coming to pick up the car to deliver it back to Charnier.
Boy, I don't know, man.
But I don't know.
But the drugs...
It's flimsy.
Yeah, because the drugs shouldn't be with Boca. They should be with Henry and Charnier.
Absolutely right.
The money should be with Boca.
Shit until you get the money.
Once Boca has the car, he doesn't even need to pay for the drugs anymore.
Right.
He has
Well, that's why I say he doesn't know that he
may not know, but it's still like, what's the point?
Here, Boca, go move this car to this place,
because we know that it's gonna get hijacked.
I don't think there's any real good excuse for this. Like you said, Jeff, maybe it's in the book, but absolutely confounded me it took me out of the movie.
I mean,
other than the Silvery Moon song.
Far into the scene where they are taking the car apart, I'm still trying to figure out why they even have the car. right? Because it's like this doesn't.
Yes,
make sense.
why do they even have the rights to do this? Because someone tried to steal it. They didn't even.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but
yeah. Like someone tried to steal this. We're gonna fucking tear it apart now.
Well, no, they have the just cause to tear it apart because Boca has it, and they know Boca is.
But now they've blown their they're if everybody's watching,
they've blown it because now they have to take it.
It's no longer bait anymore.
Right, they have to take it.
That's fair. That's fair. It's but now, the fact that the car being there in the first place, especially delivered by Boca, just doesn't make any sense.
If Henry drove it there so Boca could pick it up and put the money in something else, I could buy that. But yeah,
right. It's like a drop, right? But the wrong people have the money. It's strange. Yeah, it's strange. Yeah.
Well, either which way, it ends up getting impounded. And also Popeye Doyle drops another racial slur at the guys who were trying to pick up the car.
Oh yeah.
Our hero.
I mean, there weren't any Chinese people in this movie, so
he missed out on one.
Forget it, Jake. They're just
or Vietnamese people. There were a few that were spared, but
yeah, there were a few. The Asians were spared.
Yeah.
But no, he ends up. They take the car back, and he's like, "This car's dirty. Rip it up. We're gonna rip it up." And they, they get the whole scene of them checking every nook and cranny of this car. And I mean, the car is destroyed.
They don't check every nook and cranny, though.
They don't.
Not at first. Well, so they're looking at it, and it's like, it's not there, Popeye. It's not there. And Doyle's like, it's there. This car's dirty. I know it's dirty. It's here somewhere. And it's like, no, it's not. And then Roy Scheider's looking, it's like, hey, wait a minute. How much did you say it weighed when you brought it in? And they say, whatever, 47, whatever, 25, I think. And it's like, or 47.75.
They're 100 pounds off, whatever.
Yeah. And it's like, it's 150 pounds more than what the book says, what the manual says. Now that is a hell of a find. Just to be looking down and it's like, wait, what? Wait, what was the number?
Well, that's good detecting, honestly.
Yeah.
That's good detecting.
But because they said, well, it was also in customs at that weight.
Yeah.
It's like, we have 150 pounds of something here.
Yep. That we can't account for. Yep.
And it's like, well, I mean, the only thing I didn't do was open the rocker boards.
What?
And that's
Popeye about loses his mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should. It's like, well, why haven't we done that? I mean, God damn. And I'm kind of, as an audience member, like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, there's this perfectly good place to hide drugs.
I forget the character's name, but he says his name. He's like, come on, man.
Are you off your rocker?
Irv. I think it's like, well, hell, Irv.
And so, they open it up, and sure enough, there's bags, nicely little sealed bags of crank
heroin.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Heroin,
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, look at that. Now, meanwhile, Devereaux and the interpreter are there to pick up the car because they probably somehow figured out it was Devereaux. And he's like, we've been waiting here for 4 hours. I'm very disappointed in the whatever. And it's like,
I love Scheider in this scene. Him when he's bringing him to the car. It's so good.
Yeah. And so, and like the guy's like, I'm sorry, but we get like 800 to 1,000 cars a day. It's like, I mean, it's going to take us a bit, and, but after 4 hours, Scheider comes up. Chuck, you want to talk about Scheider?
Well, Scheider's like, so it's funny because they've destroyed this man's fucking car. And the way that Scheider is delivering the lines, it's like he's fucking with him.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, your car's right back here, right around the corner, and he's going to take him to a destroyed car, right?
That was what I was trying to say earlier. That was the comedy edit I was looking for.
Yeah.
Of the car in pieces.
But I
kind of felt like he was going to do that too. Yeah.
And then arrest them or whatever.
Yeah. And but instead, he comes around the corner. He's like, not a scratch on it. Still, we don't know. And we're thinking, oh my God, this car is just in pieces on the ground. They're going to arrest them.
Yeah.
But instead, they found same exact car, put the plates on it, put the drugs under the rocker board, and I'm like, go ahead, go.
Yeah.
I assume there must have been a tracker put on the car or something.
Yeah, because
they probably just tailed the car,
or they tailed them.
Yeah.
But they send them back, and what happens is they take the car,
and they had probably all the resources they needed to at that point.
yeah, to Boca's.
Well, yeah, because we've got it.
Yeah,
we've got it. I mean, I knew it was
now
here. We got
just
it.
need to catch them in the act.
In the act. Yep.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
And
we need to have the deal. Like, we need to get everybody, not just the frogs.
Yeah. The frogs are the main. Well, at least for Popeye, he wants Frog One. Like, that's who he really
was
wants.
humiliated by Frog One. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was humiliated by Frog One, and
Emasculated.
Frog One's goon tried to kill him.
Frog Two.
That's Frog Two tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, he already got Frog 2, though. He got him good.
Yeah, I shot your buddy in the back, bitch.
Yep. But so they make the deal, and I mean, the second most famous thing that you see from this movie, they're leaving the deal right into a police blockade, and Popeye just waving at him.
Oh yeah,
and
he gives him the subway wave. It's so good. Yeah.
And it's
I didn't even make that connection. He gave him the wave.
Oh, it's the same way.
Oh, you didn't make that French connection?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Oh, oui, I've got it.
So good.
But it's like he's like, yeah, I got you, motherfucker, but
maybe not.
It
not till the sequel.
It all flies off the rails here because they turn around and the cops are chasing after him, and a shootout begins, and eventually the cops get into the shop where Boca's brother, what he owns. Now Sal gets shot and killed. Scheider gets Sal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, with the shotgun.
Yeah, he's a messy mess in the weeds.
Yeah, because Scheider's like, send in the clones. But no, he's like, send in the gas. They send in the gas, and then people start pouring out. And that's when Boca's trying to get away, and Scheider shoots him. But at the same time, Popeye sees old Charnier going into like a side building of this building, and he follows him in there.
Oh, by the way, this is why Angie Boca does not get anything more than a misdemeanor.
She's not there.
She's not here. Yeah, she's not part of the deal.
Well, neither was the actor.
No.
But I guess it was his car, so
he is transporting that. I mean, he is trafficking.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh, and he also, before this, does try to quit. And Charnier's like, you're not quitting. And this is when you realize you're an accomplice.
Now you're an accomplice, yeah.
Well, no, I think he does quit. But that doesn't mean he can't be pulled back in because it is his car.
That's true, because he does kind of leave.
He does leave after being, but it is threatened that he is an accomplice.
Charnier is kind of yelling at him, oh, we'll give you more money. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm done because I don't even know what I'm involved in, which
he should have gotten.
He is kind of, in a way.
He wouldn't have gotten 4 years.
He's not innocent, but he's just naive. He shouldn't have agreed to do this thing.
Now, wait a minute. He quits
a little bit.
He quits and he walks out.
He already brought the car back. He had already brought the car back.
He had already brought the car back. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Because he was like, what the hell? This was a lot more than I bargained for, essentially.
And I was sitting in the police
car.
Yeah. Because I was sitting in the police station for,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, so and so Popeye goes into this building, which is mostly just an empty warehouse after Charnier, and eventually Cloudy comes into, and he almost gets his ass blown away. And he's like, no, I saw him. He came in here. He's somewhere around here. And they both start checking the place out.
And we had already seen Molderig walking through the building as well.
Yes. And Molderig comes up to the doorway of another room, to which, again, Popeye's like, drop it, bang. And they realize.
Yeah, he almost kills his partner.
Well, yeah, that was the first thing, but which I just mentioned.
I know, but I think it's an interesting thing to put a point on, right?
Yeah,
because
he's got
next and what
he's
his
a trigger
history
finger.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
killed is probably more he killed a cop.
Killed a cop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he's got an itchy trigger finger and he is very quick to pull that trigger as soon as he says hold it.
He's definitely shoot first, ask questions later. Like even before this moment, you know that's what he's about.
And the reason why he wasn't shooting any of the black guys he was chasing down in the first part of the movie was that none of them pulled a gun. If any of them had pulled a gun, he's shooting them too.
Scheider did get stuck with a knife. In that
he did get cut,
which he wasn't too happy about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, to him complain about that for a year.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear him bitch about his bowling scores. Yeah. But anyway, so he's like, oh my God! Like Claudia's taken aback. He's like, it's Mulderig.
You shot Mulderig,
and he doesn't say anything. He's like, he's in here. I heard him, and then he just runs off after.
No change of emotion at all. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just, basically, it's like, you shot Mulder, and all he says in return is, he's here. I saw him. I'm gonna catch him, and he runs off.
It runs out, and then boom, cut. It's like, whoa.
Well, there's a gunshot.
With a gunshot, which is confusing to me.
Yeah. Well, he's just fucking shooting blind at this point. Yeah, probably.
Maybe he is. Right? Maybe he is just shooting into the nothingness because we find out that he didn't ever catch Charnier.
Nope.
And what's kind of amazing, so
he beat Cheeks.
He did. So Charnier got away. We find out everybody else who lived.
Charnier got away. Like what the hell? He's got to be some kind of like master of disguise.
And
he turns into like the Pink Panther or some shit. You know?
He just turns into the Pink Panther.
Yeah, just turns into slinking around.
He turns into a cartoon.
Yeah,
he does look like a Pink Panther character.
He does.
Yeah.
Now, my guess is, because there were some characters from the real story that were left out, I wonder if maybe he had a backup plan. Because if you're an international drug kingpin, you're not going in there without a backup plan to get the hell out of there.
Well, sure, but it's still like in the context of the film, there's nothing set up for that. And like we covered that it's bare bones and whatever.
The actual story, so I have no speculation.
Yeah, but which way,
I'm guessing the guy who Popeye is based on didn't kill two cops either.
Probably not.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably not because he's in the movie.
I think that's an interesting thing, though, because think about the fact that this was written by cops, made to be realistic, and they were on set, and they were in the movie, and they were constantly technical advisors. They took...
And they were failures.
Yeah, I mean, Hackman and Scheider based their roles on these dudes.
Yeah, right.
Like they rode with them for a year.
They went on ride-alongs for a year. Yeah, I mean, they got their whole chemistry from this, and yet the movie is about not an anti-hero at all, about kind of a villain, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's
Popeye
the thing.
is not a good guy. He's someone who is unhinged, needs help, and is dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. He fucking killed an FBI agent. He probably had killed a cop in an earlier thing. He should never probably be a police officer ever again.
He probably should have never got his badge back the first time.
Right. So there's this commentary there, I think, in this movie that is I don't think it's even subtext, but the fact that the sequel, I think, makes him completely different.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it now.
I don't need to watch it too, but I read the synopsis, and it's not what I expected at all. And
so it plays on his hero part.
Yes, and they actually send him to France to track down a Charnier, and it's a fish out of water, like they don't like his tactics kind of bullshit movie, right?
Oh my God!
I think he does kind of turn into the American Pink Panther, right? So that kind of sucks. Like I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it.
Now here's the thing.
It's like everyone who made that movie sort of maybe missed the point,
This movie doesn't need a sequel.
Well, and the thing, I mean, no, I don't think it does either, because you're right, Jason, about all that you were saying about like how.
Well, thank you.
I mean that this is a movie where the guys that this was based on did not catch the guy.
Okay.
In one of the most important cases.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they didn't get the guy, but they did establish that there was heroin coming in from a French connection.
They made a connection between France and the USA.
And what ends up happening from that is I think somebody else takes over and probably busts it up. But this was the story of them uncovering the French connection. But the
okay.
But the thing is, though, you are absolutely right about Popeye Doyle.
Yeah.
He is a bad guy. And the way I look at it is, and why I think this does end up becoming the movie that I think in the end is deserving of Best Picture, is the fact that it is portraying cops as people who are doing a job, not something that they're passionate in.
Right. Well,
and they're doing a job, and they're just doing what they have to do to get the guy, and they're taking shortcuts all over the place, like a lot of people do in their jobs.
I think a lot of people think
but the
either you
stakes
become
are so much higher. Yeah.
Yes.
I think a lot of people think you either become a criminal or a cop, right? Like those people that do become cops, if they don't, they're criminals.
Right. And you're talking about a major metropolitan city too. Like if this is New York, Chicago, or LA, that line, that thin blue line is really thin.
And I see skepticism in Jason's face. I'm not saying that as a categorical, like this is the thing.
Yeah.
But I think you're right though, in places like New York and LA and Chicago, those major cities where especially back in the day when the mob ruled, and there were bad actors that became cops. That they're also criminals, I guess. They're either on the take or they're being embarrassed by them.
And I wonder if there was
that affects people.
I wonder if there was a backlash in the 70s about this, because you had a lot of police officers and racial issues with the police officers that we still have today. But it was very, very like almost rewarded in the 70s. I wonder if there was a backlash in Hollywood around this movie, because I just watched 2 Minute Warning. This could be give you this one anecdote, and there's something very interesting about this movie. You've got Charlton Heston, who plays the L.A. police commissioner, and then you've got John Cassavetes, who plays the head of the L.A. SWAT, right? And L.A. SWAT wants to just take command of this situation and do it by just take command, but we can't until it's been turned over to us. We're not in control until it's been turned over to us by the commissioner, and that's Charlton Heston. And Charlton Heston is like, I'm a peace officer. That is my first and foremost motivation, right? And Cassavetes is just like, well, I just want to neutralize the situation. I don't care, right? But he's like, but if I turn it over to you, what's going to happen next? Is it going to escalate to something that I don't want to see and that I can't control, right? So it's like this. There is this sort of talking between the police force, within the police force, about this type of what's the right way to police, right? Even in a very extreme circumstance of a sniper at the Super Bowl, right?
Well, I'm sitting here thinking it's like, well, that Charlton Heston character is not an accurate. He's not real. Swapped. Well, but no, I mean,
I was so interesting because they were both playing against type, kind of. It was weird.
Well, no, that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that in L.A., the police captain's like, fucking kill them all.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
But I don't know. I just this movie came out. 2 Minute Warning was 5 years later, so it would be an interesting little deep dive into understanding what people wanted, or what the backlash was, or what people were talking about around the portrayal of the police, and if there was sort of a, oh wow, is this what it's really like?
I'm sure it was the reverse of The Godfather, like the way that the mafia was like, no, you can't betray us this way.
Right. Oh, yeah. But it's so interesting that it was two cops that made this movie, and it was praised for its realism.
Well, I would assume
right?
they added the things they disliked about the Force. Right, that they had seen.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the movie.
Characters.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, but
I just find it interesting. I think that's
they must have seen this stuff to put it in the movie, right? Like,
well, yeah. But so did that make them pariahs, or was that?
I think they were already pariahs.
Were those things that they were disgusted by, that they wanted to shine a light on? Yeah, like I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I bet you that story is available somewhere.
I'm sure it is. Do you know that Ed O'Neill played Papa Doyle in 1986?
On a TV movie? Yeah.
For real?
Yes.
Did he have his hand in his pants? Like that?
He just like goes around saying, no pig.
That would be like, I could see an Ed O'Neill Naked Gun version of Popeye Doyle for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a little bit more looking into Gene Hackman, who was the guy that Charnier was based on. He was never arrested. All of the warrants for his arrest were left open.
Wow.
So they found he went back to France, I assume. I think they would say that in the movie, and they just left it. Interesting.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, though, it was eventually, because all that took place in 68, 69, something like that. In the early 70s, not long after this movie came out, the French Connection was dismantled. So there you go.
The drug ring.
So they took it down. Right. Yeah.
It was eventually taken down. Yeah. But Jahan was never caught.
Wow.
But anyway, I just think that this is, watching this movie, like I kind of teased earlier, it's like in the back of my head, I was like, what am I actually watching? Am I watching a procedural? Am I watching something that's a little bit more documentary level, which we kind of talked about, that this was shot very documentary style, or at least told very documentary style? Or am I watching a character study, or am I watching a little bit of all these things? Because the movie really, you really do feel like you are on the case with them. You're cold when they're standing outside in the cold. You're sleepy when they're in the car for hours. But at the same time, it's like Popeye Doyle, you are really getting an idea of this guy is a net negative as a cop.
Yeah.
He really is, because it's like he's going to use excessive force if he has to, which he will make that decision very quickly if excessive force is quick enough to finish a word to freeze and then shoot a guy.
I want to say, though, he's also a catalyst for the better. Like, if you want to say, if you want to say that Scheider or Cloudy is a better cop, he's only a better cop because Popeye is a catalyst for situations to bring Cloudy into action.
Yeah, I will say that, yes, he is a catalyst for the right thing in this movie. He gets the ball rolling to investigate the French Connection. The problem is that he goes insane by the end of it, to the point where, he's like, he does not care that the guy he didn't like anyway is dead. He's going to go catch the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be dismissive of his negatives. Yeah. Obviously, I think he's bad, and I'm not saying he's a good cop, but there are things that he does that do move this towards resolution.
No, I agree with that too. Yeah. No, I'm 100% on board with that. But yeah, his methods are all wrong.
Yes, he's Hammer. Yeah. And he's a hammer that doesn't even have like a hand that knows what it's doing.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have any nails. It's just it's hammering the walls, it's hammering the table. It's whack-a-mole. Exactly.
He's kind of the line.
He's missing most of the time.
He's kind of the line between like what cops want to be and then the dangers of if they become that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can rein in his instincts or his we'll just call them instincts. If you can rein in what he feels he should do all the time and make it what he should do, he'd be fucking fantastic.
Oh, he's a great cop at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd be fucking fantastic because he has the gumption, he has the aggressiveness needed in situations if it's needed, but it's all just unchecked.
Yeah.
Right? It's all unchecked.
Well, it's almost like everybody's like, that's just Popeye being Popeye.
Can you imagine if Popeye had body cam footage?
Oh my God. I mean, if Popeye was today, oh my God.
I mean, he would be like kicked off the force in the first hour.
Yeah, a routine fucking jaywalker would be dead.
The problem is Popeye does exist today, but it's internalized so deeply into the consciousness of so many cops.
I bet you people, and
they become like simmering fucking volcanoes of rage.
And then they go home and beat their wives.
He'd be, and I don't want to say that, I hate even saying this, but like Derek Chauvin, however you say that dude's name.
Murderer is how I pronounce it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy, yeah.
Yes,
like,
thank you.
That's Popeye. That's Popeye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he'd keep his knee on the neck for far too long.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, he's dead. And just shrug it off and then go chase after the next bad guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there would be a whole media circle that would make him out to be a hero.
And then he'd get pardoned, probably. But yeah, it is wild that like prior to body cam and all that, like the shit still happens.
Oh yeah.
We have receipts. Oh, yeah. Sometimes
the receipts don't even work because we've just got rampant corruption.
Right. And well, I mean, that's the problem too with body cam, and I'm not letting anyone off the hook for being overly aggressive or a killer. Like a lot of the times, most of the narrative is missed in that too. So both sides will just build the narrative that they want, and I'm not like being ultra critical of anyone.
And we don't always know like, what happened to that 30 seconds of footage, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And there's something in there is telling about why it ended up the way it did, one way or the other.
Yeah. Whether guy pulls gun or cop just like, I've had enough of this guy.
And we don't always know, but both sides are going to pretend they know.
Right.
A lot of the
times.
And
I would hang so many fucking juries if I were on a jury of like any.
Yeah, you don't want me in there. I'd be way too critical of the shit. Yeah.
Oh my God, I would be your worst fucking nightmare as a juror. But
I agree with that. But no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I agree with that, and I feel that would be the same.
Yeah.
But and that's kind of ties back to something else that I said earlier about like how there is kind of a blasé attitude that Popeye Doyle has, like, well, I'm just doing my job and I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is arresting these people. And yet it's
breaking
like
the law, right? I mean,
it's like, but at the end of the day, he's also skirting the law to do his job. And it's just, he's so blasé about it. It's like, he doesn't have the heart of a true cop, right? Like he only sees the negative in people, which
I mean, he's clearly a sociopath. I mean,
right. And
100%.
Now,
yeah, you could do your job. You could do your job the right way and still get the same results.
But you never get the sense that Scheider is a sociopath. You feel like he wants to do the job the right way, but he has a partner that he sort of admires, but also fears.
But I also think Cloudy would be lazy if Popeye wasn't around. Like Popeye kind of drags him into.
But maybe it's good for cops to get a fucking 8 hours of sleep a night.
I agree with that. I agree.
You know, I mean.
Well, and Popeye, there's one scene in this in which Popeye wakes up in the morning at a bar, face down on the bar, like he slept there all fucking night, passed out drunk. You know, I mean, like.
And then he goes out.
And then he goes to work.
Drives home. No, he drives home, and that's when he picks up Red Boots.
Yeah. That's right, because he sees the girl riding their bike in front of him. He's like, well, and then, I like those red
Cloudy
boots.
shows up, is like, we got to go do this thing.
Miss, can I ask you about those boots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What's funny is like,
at least we know what his fetish is.
I assume he asked Red Boots that, but they don't show it.
Right.
Like,
right.
Well,
it's
her on the bike, I'm like, he's going to ask her that. Yeah.
Yep. He has a
he does. But no, I think, just kind of put a bow on the whole anti-hero thing. I do think that there is still, like, when you're right, it's like the refined version of the anti-hero from the Popeye Doyle lineage is Harry Callahan.
Yeah.
And Dirty Harry, though,
he's still a fascist, though. Dirty Harry is.
Yes, but he is I would say that he is the more refined, better cop.
He's a little more moral.
Well, and he's definitely became the real archetype for a lot of these Italian movies, right? Like these fascist cop movies. I mean, they're all fascist cops. Those police get.
It makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, it is Italy.
So many Italian westerns that they would look to. They would look to Clint Eastwood.
Oh, I was just saying. Oh, it's Italy, so of course they.
No, absolutely. I was making the point, Jason.
Yeah.
Was making.
But no, I know you were making the correct point, anyway, Chuck.
The score of this movie is amazing.
Sure is.
Oh, it's very good.
Like, did this get nominated?
Nope.
That's crazy to me because this score is so good. It's so different.
It builds tension.
It builds tension. It just blasts you right in the face at the beginning of the movie with the title.
Yes.
It's like
the title comes flying at you, too. Yeah. I was going to ask you what you thought about that title card.
I loved it, especially with the music. It was just so, just like, you're in for something different. You're in for a shock. That's what I felt. Yeah.
It elicited, like, news bulletin to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like throwing you into this this kind of documentary of this moment.
Yeah, most definitely. He's a jazz musician. Just like, I don't know much about him, but holy hell, that score is incredible.
It's very good.
Yeah, just that real high pitched trumpet coming at you, like it punches you in the face.
7-Ups too. Yeah. I feel like I need to see the 7-Ups because that feels like Scheider's sequel to The French Connection, right?
I think I've seen that movie. I feel like
check it out.
Also, Fincher cited this as one of the 5 films that influenced the cinematography of Seven. I said, well, you don't see many movies that look like that either anymore.
Akira Kurosawa counted it as one of his favorite films. That's pretty company.
Yeah, no shit. Spielberg used this for Munich. As a way to edit, which totally makes sense too.
For the edit?
I think just for just a way it's shot, I think is more than anything.
You could see it a little bit of Popeye in that Eric Bana character.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a group that they're hunting too. So it's like, that's kind of an interesting, you feel for them maybe a little bit more than you would a Popeye Doyle.
I consider movies like that Most Dangerous Game movies when the hunt becomes an art.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly
it's on my list. Munich is.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that both Siskel and Ebert gave it 4 stars, but Pauline Kael really didn't like it.
I know. I thought that was interesting too.
Sometimes she's a little off base from those two, and they're very much similar in a lot of ways, particularly Ebert.
Especially how much she loved Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
I almost kind of feel like she missed the point a little bit on this one. And maybe like if a little bit of separation from 71 might have, she probably would have reappraised this movie, I think.
Oh, possibly. I don't know how often she ever reappraised. I know Ebert sometimes did. Siskel, I don't think ever did. Or very rarely did.
I don't want to say that she would have, but I think she might have.
Well, I mean, considering how close she and Ebert were in a lot of opinions, I'm always surprised when they disagree.
Yeah.
But they disagreed quite mightily. But yeah. Anyway, I think this is still a very good movie, worth every bit of what praise it's gotten. I think it is not an easy watch for maybe certain sensibilities of this era, but I think it is interesting to look at this side of, of big city police work. It's not the guys in blue, help tracking down a killer in a small town. This is really hard shit.
Yeah, the New York City setting is just so rad in this movie. It feels so authentic.
Yeah.
It really is just a different but still sort of similar New York to now, right? It's just
it's you also
you can pick up the vibe from it still.
And another reason why it feels so dirty. And another reason why I feel like it's so like realistic feeling is that sometimes the dialogue doesn't feel like it's written. It feels like it's coming out of them.
Yeah. I didn't feel like there was a script to this movie. Like,
I mean, there's so much they won an Oscar.
Right. No, I'm just saying.
But it feels natural.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of probably what they say came from the ride-alongs, came from them being embedded. They were picking up lingo and vernacular, right? Because it feels very natural. There are things just like what are you doing playing hide the salami? Like it's probably that's probably the earliest incarnation of that line, right? Playing hide the salami,
whip it out.
When he says, "Want to take a ride, fat man?" I'm sure he heard that, right? This little crap he probably they got on the ride-alongs. It's good.
No, I think this is I still think this is a very good movie and very much worthy of its praise.
I do too. I think it's very important in the landscape of American cinema. I think it's very interestingly made. Stylistically, I think it created just an unholy amount of copycats, which is always interesting to me.
I think it also
that's that much of a sea change.
Yeah. I think also it's also a along with Midnight Cowboy and Easy Rider, probably is the third piece of the movies that created the 70s.
And Michael Mann.
That would be interesting.
And Michael Mann,
That would be an interesting theme episode, because I don't necessarily agree. I think there's a lot to talk about there, but I'm not fully prepared for that conversation. So let's maybe table that for another day.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had a theme episode too.
I agree that it would be in the conversation, but I think there are probably others that are deserving of mention there.
Well, let's put it this way.
In the conversation?
Real quick before we talk about conversation.
That was
I will say, when we talk about American films, the American film landscape, I think, I don't know.
We were supposed to table it.
Okay.
Jason teed you up so good.
I did. I teed you up so good.
I'm ruining that because you didn't let me say the other thing earlier.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll accept it.
Fair.
But the only people that lose are the audience, our listeners. They lose.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week. Is that what we're at? Is that okay?
Yeah.
We are.
We have to talk about next week.
Yes, we do. And let's have the conversation.
Yeah, let's have the conversation.
Let's have the conversation. So Francis Ford Coppola's other movie from 1974.
Yeah.
In a year that he wins Best Director, but gets only gets a Best Picture nominee out of this movie. He has 2 Best Picture nominees,
Insane.
1 Best Director, no nomination for Hackman. But it's The Conversation. 1974 is The Conversation, the forgotten, I say forgotten in major quotes, the forgotten Coppola movie that nestles between the Godfather movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair that it's not nearly as well known.
But I think a lot of people think
10
it's
people
as
on the
good.
street, if they've heard of Godfather, then you'll get probably 10 yeses. You'll maybe get 2 or 3 yeses on The Conversation, if that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will say that it's just as interesting, if not just as good, as the 2 Godfathers.
Yeah, and I'm excited. It's been a long time since I've seen this, and I think it was Dave, our friend and listener Dave, who mentioned that it would be fascinating to talk about Blow Out, The Conversation, and Blow Up, right? Mm-hmm. So we've done Blow Out, the Brian De Palma, John Travolta movie, and now we're going to do The Conversation, and then maybe one day we should get to Antonioni's Blow Up, because they all are very similar in their convention.
Yeah, and certainly I think when we talked about Blowout, we were already thinking Blow Up was coming at some point.
Yeah. And The Conversation, I think, too. I mean, I believe we brought it up maybe briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think that, these 2 movies, I mean, and also talking about Bonnie and Clyde earlier, and we've talked about Unforgiven, we've talked about the Superman movies. There are plenty more Gene Hackman. I mean, we got Downhill Racer, we've got, Hoosiers, sure. Yeah. Reds. He's in Reds with Beatty.
I got the TMC.
Oh, real quick, the Mississippi Burning is the other big one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Prime Cut. You got to see Prime. It's lesser known, but man, his performance is awesome in it. I watched the TMC version of The Conversation where I got the little intro and the little outro with some tidbits of information.
Wait, you already watched The Conversation?
No, sorry. Of
me too. That's what I was saying.
This
earlier.
last one, the last one we watched.
Oh,
yeah. I watched the TMC where they had you and I were hitting on
French Connection.
Some of the same.
So yeah,
things
so we we had the
said.
international. Well, the next movie they were about to watch in the TMC
Hoosiers.
marathon was Hoosiers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing a little Gene Hackman retrospective.
Yep.
Yeah. I always like the TMC when I can.
I like that they're uncut.
Yeah.
They play him as is, and you get a little before and after.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I know they don't want to cut into the movie, but it'd be cool if they did even like more
Joe Bob style.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you could have one with or without, maybe. I don't know, because I know the purists. They don't always love that, especially you're cutting into an Academy Award-winning Best Picture movie.
You can give me more
and one that's also got a lot of rhythm to it too. Yeah. You don't really want to break it.
But I mean, in general, right? Like it's a lot easier to do that in like Friday the 13th Part 2.
Or The Scream. The Scream.
So I kind of get it.
The Scream face.
I love that format, and I've always loved the TMC stuff. The way they've
I also remember the old A&E, whoever that used to host those. Those were always good too. Back then.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, A&E was
Nick
good.
Clooney. Was he? No, he wasn't.
No,
Nick Clooney. You.
I don't know.
George Clooney's uncle.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
we did it.
So next week, June 11th. Come check out what we have to say about The Conversation. We'll have a conversation about it. It'll all be good. Go to filmseizure.com. That's where you'll find all of our stuff and where you can follow us on the social medias and where you can subscribe to us on the various podcast providers. Also, same place this upcoming Monday. I have a new episode of Monster Mondays, continuing the wrap up of the Gamera movies. I'm going to be talking about the first of the trilogy of the mid-90s that are really, really good movies. Gamera, Guardian of the Universe. Jason wants to watch probably the second and third one because those get weird, man.
That's what I heard. I heard that.
Yeah, they get weird. I would recommend the whole trilogy, though. They're very serious compared to what they were in the past. So yeah, that's coming up on Monday. All those same places, filmseizure.com. This upcoming Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, I have a review of 2009's The Uninvited, a movie that pisses me off every time I fucking watch that piece of shit.
Wait,
Anyway,
which one?
The Uninvited.
Is that the cat movie?
No, that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie.
And that's from the 80s. That's from the
Okay.
80s. 2009's Uninvited has the girl from Sucker Punch in it, and she comes home, and Elizabeth Banks is like her new stepmom.
whatever,
That movie
yeah.
sucks. Anyway, not the girl's fault, not anybody's fault,
Not the
except
Alanis
for
Morissette song.
right.
Cat movie. Okay.
It's based on Tale of Two Sisters, which is a much better movie.
Oh my god, that movie's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so go read that review and watch me continuously get madder and madder as we carry on. Anyway, until then, I am Popeye Jeff Arbuckle.
I pick my feet in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah. And I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.